And like, has there been another situation where we've heard in-game, I need to specify in-game because this game wants you to do fucking homework and extracurricular activities. Has Reign of Sensation been mentioned anywhere before? In-game.
Yeah, in Gold and Gears.
That's extracurricular activities. I don't count that shit. That's extracurricular activities. I don't count that shit. If it's trailers, Sim Uni, Hoyo Lab, anything outside of MSQ, it's extracurricular activities. That's soccer after school. I want to go home. No.
That's why I'm here, though.
I know that's why you're here, and I love you for it. But now. No. Okay, I go to school from 7 in the morning till 3 p.m. to tell me that I gotta stay in the after school program and go to summer camp or I can't do my book report. No.
No pressure.
No. Honkai Star Rail, no. You don't give me free school lunch.
Ha ha ha.
God damn it.
Stop it, you're too funny.
Oh my god. I'm gonna clip that later. No. Legitimately though, I have to specify this sort of thing because again, there is so fucking much in Honkai Star Rail. It's great. If you love lore and like the deepest, grittiest trenches, if you don't want to go into the Nutty Putty cave because those holes are too thin and scary, but you like that in your lore, this is the Nutty Putty cave of fucking lore.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I've been turned into Polo. The problem is, not everybody can do that shit.
They're definitely going to make it explicit later on, but that's basically an early confirmation for lore nerds.
Yeah. Again, it's great. It's great for the people who really dive into that shit. It's amazing, but again, it's like, oh my god, there's so much to Honkai Star Rail. And when it comes to Sim Uni, Golden Gear, Swarm Invasion, the fucking Protean Hero, Divert, like all that stuff, there's so fucking much in there. We've all seen it. When you freaking get the funny branches in Sim Uni, and then it gives you this whole fucking lore shit. I don't got time for that. I would love to. I would love to have something oh god. This is why a part of me has actually been considering like going back to all of this shit and just recording myself reading it and then like posting it so that it's like, hey, do you not have time for this shit? Neither do I, but I had a little more than you, so I read it. Like, but it's just so much. And whether I can say it hinders the true enjoyment of this game, I couldn't tell you. Because I'm sure there are some people who can like just be like, oh, okay, yeah, Reign of Sensation, I guess you're gonna do this to me and it's gonna do something like that. But, and so much of it is nothings. Like, it's, I don't know. It just feels like extracurricular activity and homework. And while it's really, really good for like, again, the people really into lore diving that have the time and really want to theory craft this game, I feel like for people like me who have a bit of a thing where I'm like, why is that highlighted? What does that mean? Where have we heard about this before? Like, it just freaking wrecks me because when it goes over my head, I feel like an idiot. And one can say that that's not the game's fault if I don't have the time to look into it. But it's just, there's just so fucking much. There's so fucking much bloat on the extracurricular things that it's so hard to discern what matters and what doesn't. And I don't know.
No, it's fine. The game doesn't assume you know. It's just neat if you do.
Yeah. It's just, I wish the game had, I guess, more incentives to really make you want to do those extracurricular things, aside from just giving you jades. And if it's going to have these large swaths of dialogue, like, give me an option where it's like, what's the TLDR of this paragraph you just freaking vomited at me in SimUni? What's the TLDR, and let that be
that.
like like right now how like in SimUni and like in general they've got that brief description toggle. Put that in SimUni. Put that in those little lore shits that you've got in SimUni, and let me tick that. Let me tick the brief description. I can read it really quickly, and I'll have a general idea of what this freaking word vomit you just threw at me was. And then I kind of know. And then I can put that in the back burner or stuff like that. It's also kind of like how the MSQ gives you all these pamphlets of funny things you can pick up, that during MSQ, I actually don't mind reading these. But some people, they just pick it up and just keep going. And the game assumes you're not reading it, which is sad. But
also, I only caught that in part because I just did the Enigmata scene in Gold and Gears yesterday.
Yeah, I've barely touched Golden Gears, but I feel like they're going in the right direction where they've been adding the brief description to certain things. They got to start adding that to SimUni. They got to start adding that to the big swaths of text in SimUni at the very end.
I agree.
So that like this information is easier to digest and go through as a player, because again, I would love to know what these big swaths of information are. When I was first playing this game and I was doing SimUni, I was reading all of that stuff. And I was like, oh my god, this is so much fucking reading. Does this matter? Does this matter? And some people told me, like you and some people told me, if you really want to know the nitty-gritty stuff, it does. But in the grander scheme of things, it doesn't. And it's like, okay, cool. But then again, there are these little moments where it does. The fact that, again, you can play Golden Gears, a mode that's not even fucking talked about in SimUni because it was one of the early SimUni modes, that you can unlock this thing with the Enigmata, and now you know what this is. And now you're wondering if, again, we talked about the theories where, you know, Remembrance might not even be a real Aeon. It might be the Enigmata, that the presence of Evernight here seems to imply a more, the presence of the Enigmata over the Remembrance, and how the Memo Keepers and the Fictionologists are really not that different. How if you were to compare the Memo Keepers and the Fictionologists, it's like comparing a documentary about the Titanic to the James Cameron movie Titanic.
Yeah, that's one of my pet theories. Memo Keepers and Fictionologists are virtually identical.
Yeah, the only difference between a Memo Keeper and a Fictionologist is their fucking...
They only seem to differ in methods.
Yeah, it's just... The mission statement is the only real difference between both of them. The mission statement is just worded differently. And it's really interesting to see where this is going, but god, I just had to go on that little crash out. I just had to go on that little fucking crash out. Because god, also I do play it up because it's funny. But the next fucking feedback
They come
survey,
off like different factions of the same belief than two different beliefs.
Yeah. I really hope that the next time we get a feedback survey, that I will try to fill it out, and if people also fill out those feedback surveys, please fill it out and say you want a brief description toggle for SimUni text. SimUni text needs that brief description. And it's crazy to me that out of all the things that have a brief description toggle, the stories in SimUni that have all those nice little freaking 5-calorie lore dumps that are just so they are the potato chips of lore. They're the potato chips of lore. And
what an interesting analogy.
And because again, it's that thing of like, in the grand scheme of things, they're just little in the grand scheme of things, they aren't as substantial as what you get in MSQ, but they sure are really nice to have. That's why I call it the potato chips of lore. They're very satisfying and good to have a lot of. You can't just end at one little scrap of lore, but in the grand scheme of things, they don't mean as much as what you learn in the MSQ, because the MSQ is going to give you a nice hearty meal that carries you through most of the time. But yeah, either way, it's really cool that a lot of this stuff is coming back to like such old content, because it also shows you how much they plan ahead, how much foreshadowing there is, how many breadcrumbs have been around us the whole fucking time. But man, I wish they can be like, look at these breadcrumbs, instead of it just be that I was walking around on things wondering why the floor dirty. Like, I don't fucking know. I don't know how to properly explain it. But yeah, I just had to go on that crash out. All right.